What's up? What's up? What's up? It's John here from JJS Consultant Tech. And today we're going to do something a little different, something a little cinematic. As you see, my color is a little flat. That should give a little hint of what we're doing. Color grading. That's what we're doing. We're setting two phones. Well, we're setting a phone and a camera up against each other because I've heard a lot of things about, the iPhone 15 Pro and Apple Log, and my friends been telling me, hey man, you should try it out because it's really, really good. I'm like, I'm not interested because there's a whole lot of things that go into that to make an image look good. You know, you got the sensor, you have the lens, you have the R&D. There's a whole bunch of things, and I was a little hesitant. So today, I said, all right. He's been telling me it's really good, so I'm a test it out. So hopefully we can change the image from looking like this all the way to looking like this, And we're gonna put the iPhone Apple ProRes log up against Redco RAW, and let's see how well it holds up against that. So let's get right into it. By the way, how you like that transition? That was smooth. I don't know, it was good in my head. Let's take that film grain off. All right, let's switch it to Final Cut, where I have everything set up. All right. All right, cool. So this is Final Cut, and we got two separate footages. So anything that says image such and such, this is the iPhone. And you can see what's really interesting to me, even though this is Apple ProRes RAW, I can see that, look at the waveform. As you see, like the middle for the iPhone is like between 70 and 25, and the red is between like 55 and I don't know what this is, but it goes way lower, so it's much more flatter. And another thing that got me a little confused was, for some reason, ProRes RAW records in Rec 2020 instead of Rec 709. I was trying to figure out a way to try to change that, but I guess that's baked in. But this is my first time comparing these two, and this is my first time color grading. Now, I'm not the best colorist. I don't even think I'm that good at color grading, but we gonna figure out a thing or two today, you know what I'm saying? So what I use to color grade, I use Cinegear. Move this out the way. I use Cinema Grade. So it's a plugin. I know. I should be using DaVinci Resolve, but I started with Final Cut, so it's a hard habit to break. So right here is Cinegrade. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put Cinegrade on all of these clips. We are going to try to see how far we can push these clips. Boom. Boom. And boom. All right, cool. So there are three different type of footages. Excuse me. Sorry about that. A little coffee cough. So we got some geese and water, And we got some more geese and water. And we got some water and woods. I couldn't find that much to shoot because it's winter time, so there aren't that much colors. And I am kind of interested about this last clip right here. This is just shooting off of a cliff into the distance. I want to see how well the Apple ProRes holds up the highlights. I mean, it looks pretty good in the log. I can see a little definition in the clouds and whatnot. Excuse me. So if you probably can't see that, but I can see a little definitions in the clouds. All right, let's start with the first clip. Let's open up cinema grade. And okay, so as you see, this is 100% log. Everything is like flat. I've downloaded a LUT from online. It was a LUT for Apple ProRes. Which one is this? This is the red. This is the red. So let me put a basic red LUT that you can get from red.com. X709. High contrast. Let me do low contrast. And a very soft highlight roll off. Yeah, so we can medium. All right, so that's just the basic red LUT on there. And yeah, that's what it looks like. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Let's just test the exposure. Let's see how it looks. Okay, so it's exposed correctly. Nothing is clipping, and the shadows are really good because there is nothing really purple. Let's do a little. So I gotta bring it all the way down. Or I can push it up a bit more. And today was like almost a perfect day because it was overcast. So it didn't have to do that much. All right, let's put it back to normal. Yep, so that's just a basic look on there. Basic LUT. It's exposed pretty well. Yeah, I mean, you can do a little tweak into it. Like, I'm completely familiar with red because this is some of the best codec or raw file to work with. It's simple and it just retains a whole lot of data. So I can make it less contrasty. I can push it up a bit. You still hold all of that data. I can also put another LUT on it. Why not? Just for fun. Let's see. Some of these LUTs are really strong, but so we are just going to add something to boost it up and then dial it back a bit. Ooh, I like Jamaica. It's between Airy Ice Blue and Jamaica for some reason. This looks good. Let's go with this. Let's do Jamaica. Well, right now it's too strong because, as you see, completely clipping. Highlights are clipped. The darks are crushed. If we do false color, it's not completely clipped. It just doesn't look that good. Because if it was in the red, it'll be completely clipped. And if it was like deep purple, the shadows would have been crushed. Huh. All right, so let's pull this LUT back a little bit. And yeah, let's leave it right there. Also, we can play with the hues. Let's see if we can change the color of these geese. You can give it a little brownish, more of a brownish color, or more of a green color, you know, whatever floats your boat. And doing all of that, the darks aren't crushed and the highlights are still, oh, this is ugly. Let me put that back. Oh. Yep. Yes. Yeah, red footage is a beast. You can also add, you know, something like a film grain on it as well. You can also look at the histogram. Like, we are nowhere close to clipping or close to crushing the shadows. You can add like a film grain. Why would you want to add a film grain? I don't know. Probably you're kind of sophisticated, you know? Let's apply that, see how that looks. Might take a while to render, but yeah, it's gonna take a while to render. This is not an M machine. This is still Intel, but it's pretty fast, you know? It's pretty fast. It's a dedicated GPU and everything. That's why I'm still with Team Intel for right now. I mean, it don't look bad. Hold on. I gotta wait till this renders. In the meantime, let's see how good the iPhone footage is. Well, off the bat, I can see it's much brighter. But I am interested to see how well it holds up after you do a few of the same things that we did with the red footage. Is the red footage finished rendering yet? You probably can't see it online. It's gonna look terrible, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks all right. Looks okay. I'll do a little bit more tweaking to the geese. I mean, it's gonna look different online, you know. But on this screen, it looks really good. It looks pretty I could save this and give it to a client and they would be happy. They wouldn't be ecstatic, but they'll be happy. They'll be happy with this. Let's go to the iPhone. Now this is my first time doing anything with iPhone 15 Pro footage, aka ProRes LOG, and let's add a LUT. Now this LUT I got from a guy online, and I want to see how well it works. What is it called? I think I called it, says inlets, iPhone to Rec 709. All right. Low, primary, I don't know the difference because I've never used it. Let's do primary. Let's see what, oh, okay. All right. I like it. One thing I must say, let's see what the low looks like because it brought down the highlights. Okay, there's no difference. Let's go back to primary. Paste. I'm not visually seeing a difference, but if I'm looking at the histogram, like if you look at the histogram, you can see it's moving a bit, especially in the highlight areas over here. I'm pointing. I'm dead pointing, like you guys can see what I'm pointing at, like this right here. So you see? Yeah. Okay, so let's just do primary. Let's put on false color. Okay, okay. Some of the shadows are clipped. I mean crushed. My fault. Wrong terminology. It's a little too dark, and we haven't played with it yet. But let's push and pull and see how far. Let's see how that. It's not bad. Oh. There is a lot of latitude. It's just that this is interesting. Hold on. This is very interesting. Never seen. So when let me go to a dark spot. Let me highlight a dark spot. So over here is the darkest spot. And let me try to pull down the shadows. Okay, there you go. I had to go to a dark spot. It was user error. Oh, it was messing me up. It was what looked like what was happening is when I was pulling down the shadows, it seemed to be somewhat staying above 0. So preserving itself from clipping, but that's not the case. I was just bugging. Okay, so well, obviously you don't have as much flexibility as the red, but dude, this is pretty good. Yeah, you don't have as much detail in like the highlights. Let me go back to the red footage. Yeah, so as you see, there's a whole lot of playing room. There's tons of room to play with this red footage. Like, you gotta go pretty far up to clip it. It doesn't look, I mean, yeah, it looks bad. It doesn't look that bad clipped. And select the dark spot. Yeah, you got to bring it all the way down. Is that the max? And it's not completely crushed when you bring it all the way down. It's better. It's better footage, but dude, look at the price difference. Like, this is still like really good, especially coming from a phone. Let's get back. It's good enough. Like, if I wouldn't feel any type of way using this footage for like a wedding, like a quick run and gun. Now, if like you have to have pretty good lighting for the iPhone, because it just has a teeny tiny sensor. You're crazy if you believe in Apple and thinking that you can take this anywhere in any condition and come out with great footage because you're shooting in ProRes LOG. If you watched Apple's event about the Halloween one, they have a video about the behind the scenes, because they were proud walking around saying that this footage was all shot on iPhone, which is true. It was shot on iPhone, but all the equipment that they use surrounding the iPhone had to be $500,000 upward, because they had the crazy huge airy sky panels, like the $30,000 ones. They had like 2 of them, and they had a crazy team, and they had like a jib, a robotic arm, and yeah. So you need a lot. You still need to spend a lot to get like really good footage, because you got to control the lighting, you got to control a whole lot. But you know, most clients that a whole lot of users deal with, they don't care too much about that, especially like for weddings, like lower budget weddings. This footage is pretty good. Let's go to see how much we can mess with the contrast. I only got this pink. Okay. It's holding up pretty good. I mean, you can't push it too much, but it's holding up. Ooh, not too much. Yeah, you can't push it too much, but you can definitely, you can get away with a lot with this. All right. That's pretty fine. I couldn't get too close to the geese because they run fast. Like, they see someone with a camera, and I didn't want to zoom in. I wanted to use the best Apple lens, because when you use like the telephoto lens, it's not as good of quality as the bigger, wider lenses. So I think I got closer to. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, let's add a LUT, just because. feeling a little creative. Let's see which look. Ooh, Kodak. I like the leaves. Kodak and Fuji. Let's try Kodak. All right. Let's bring up the shadows a little bit. I mean, red is a little bit crushed, but you know, whatever. Let's see if we can change the hue. Yeah, you can change the hue. Yes, sir. It changes of the building. It changes the hue of the building as well. I mean, you can possibly put a mask. Like if you're putting a mask on all these leaves, at that point, you might as well update and get actual camera. But that's not the point. The point is this is it's capable. It's definitely capable. Like that yellow right there. Jeez, look at the red. Man, I was so close. But then they ran away. Let me see if let me put the Fujifilm on this as well. No, the Kodak. That was the Kodak. Yeah, Kodak looks different. Kodak looks much different. Plus, iPhone is Rec 2020, so but I have to do quite a bit to get it to look like this. But, dude, this is an iPhone. Oh, that's the other thing, the auto exposure. See how that shifts? Auto exposure can be a nightmare. So I was using the camera app for the one that comes with Apple. I was trying to use Blackmagic, that free Blackmagic. That thing is great, but for some reason I couldn't find the setting to record it in log in the Blackmagic app. So I just used the native Apple app. And the thing about the Blackmagic app is that you can control the exposure, because this is bad. This changes whenever it wants. Then it changed back. I mean, if you're going for some kind of effect, it could work, but 9 out of 10 times you don't want that. Okay, so this is kind of like the same thing with the geese. Let's go to the water. The water was a darker location. All right, let's open this up. This is the red footage. Let's put the, you know what? Let me put that Apple log footage on the red and see how well that does. Because that looked really good on the Apple. Let's do primary. Of course not. Why did I think that was gonna work? All right, let's go back to red. Red's native log to Rec 709. And let's check exposure. It's not crushing. The blacks are not crushed. Right. Let's boost up the highlight. There aren't that much highlights. There aren't that many highlights at all. Let's keep this one a bit dark and moody. Yeah. Let's do that. We can bump up the contrast a bit. Not too much though. Because we don't want it to look like Samsung. Ha! Shots fired. Alright. And we are not. Let's play with the saturation a bit. Yeah, there aren't that much colors here. And let's just save time and throw a LUT on there, you know? You feel me? And summer looks fine. Grit is a bit gritty. M31 log. That looks a little decent. Eh. Let's play with the hue a bit. Let's change the color of the water maybe. I'm telling you, boy, like red's Kodak. Because I'm just changing the water. It's not touching. It's not touching the rocks. It's not touching the trees. It's not doing any of that. How far can I push this until it? There you go. You got some green water, you know? All right. So, as you see, I mean, it's 16-bit raw. Like, for as expensive as red is, you better get that flexibility with the files. But yeah, that's why a whole lot of Hollywood films go with this, and Airy, Sony Venice as well. Like they're really good. It isn't as compressed, but I am still. Let's keep this dark and moody. that poisonous water, you know. And look, this, if you look here, there is nothing crushed at all. Everything is above zero. Everything is above zero. Right? There is so much latitude. All right, so let's go to Apple. Let's play around a bit with this one. And let's do the same thing. Let's keep this a little dark and moody. So let's do low. And since this, I like the colors though. I do like the colors. I don't know, is this LUT as well? Apple needs to come out with a base LUT. Because this is not how it looked in real life at all. This is more of a creative expression. It did not look like this at all. Hold on, let me see. It looked a bit more, oh, definitely not like this. But let me go back to the base before yeah, this is how it looked. It looked really dull and dreary because, you know, it's winter. This is more true to what it looked like in real life. But I'm not mad at this. But if you're going for a more realistic type of rendition, this ain't it. That's why Apple needs to come out with their own LUT conversion from ProRes LOG to 709 or Rec 2020 since it records in 2020. Let's play with this. Let's make this a bit darker. Pull it all the way down. Yeah, let's keep it around there. Does that look? Okay. Yeah, let's keep it moody. Let's throw a LUT on there. This is not the correct way to color grade. I am just speed running, just to see how well this ProRes LOG does. What did I have on it before? I had Kodak. Kodak looks completely different. Yeesh. Let's pull that back. Dreary. It was dark and dreary, but not that much. Okay, let's see. All right, yeah, that's fine. As long as we're not clipping and crushed. Shadows are not clipped. Shadows are not crushed. The highlights are not clipped. Not that many highlights in this scene because, you know, it's in the woods somewhere. Let's try to play with the water. Let's see if we can. Nope, you can't. Yeah, I guess that's one of the limits. As you see with the red, I was able to just highlight the water because it's 16-bit, and I was just able to change the color of the water itself. With this, you possibly still can do it, but you'll probably just have to do a whole lot of masking. I do like this color though. Like the water is not changing whatsoever. The water is a constant, like, it will not be moved. It's everything around it that's changing. Alright, so what if I try to change the leaves then? Yeah, the water stays the same. What's up? The water is like, bro, don't even bother. I don't like that color though. So, but if I change the hue of the water, it's like a whole different color the leaves get. It's still not crushed. But I guess it's just not that much information. But again, this is pretty impressive. Like, you couldn't even do this with iPhone footage last year. So this is pretty good. Pretty good. Especially for our iPhone. One thing to note though, that for some reason, when you're recording ProRes RAW, it uses tons of space. It's almost using more space than a red. It's kind of crazy. Because almost. Yeah, you definitely need an external SSD, 2 TB or even 4 TB, especially if you're trying to use ProRes LOG for like long periods of time. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. All right, that's that. Yeah, it has limitations, but it's pretty good. Let's do. Now this is the one I want to see. Now this is pure highlights. I want to see how well the iPhone does. Again, this one is red. This one is iPhone. Let's start with the red. Let's do cinema grade. And let's throw the native LUT. Boom. That's how it looked. Yeah, because it was overcast day. Let's play with it. Let's play with some shadows. Click on the dark spot. Pull down. Oh, you can kind of see. You can kind of see downtown Manhattan. Kind of. Like these buildings over here. These, like, it looks like you can see them in the distance. Just like silhouettes. Yeah, that's like the Freedom Tower and etc. That's downtown Manhattan. I'm surprised you can actually see that in the red footage. I had no faith that you were able to see this. That's the Freedom Tower right there. It's probably crazy online. You probably can't see it that much, but it's able to retain that information. And now it was on a 50mm lens. And this is in the highlights. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, let's see if we can bring down the highlights over there. No. Even if I push the highlights all the way up, you can still see. You can still see it in the distance. It's just keeping that information. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I had no faith. I thought it was just going to be a blob. All right, let's keep that right there. And yep, you know it. Let's throw on a LUT. Why not? The 70s look pretty good. Summer looks okay. Let's go. Kodak is very vibrant. Let's do a red creative LUT. Let's see. Let's do Astro World. Can I do Astro World? Astro World. I'm sorry. Asteroid City. More of a orange and teal type of thing. High contrast. Ray shadows. Neutral shadows. Yeah, let's do ray shadows. Then bring them down. And it'll look crazy. That looks so crazy. Let's bring those shadows down, 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 down. How's that look? Bring it down a bit. Do the exposure. Oh, no, I'm gonna have to do the contrast. I don't like this. I don't like it at all. No, sir. Let's try something else. That's better for a different theme. I mean, I could have continued to play with it, but you know, why? Let me go to the original plan. Yeah, let's get one of these red creative looks. It looks blah, dull, but it's pretty cool. You can bring out a whole lot of color. Looks artificial, but yeah, the highlights are completely blown out because I can't see the highlight. I can't see them in the distance anymore. But I should be able to bring down the exposure a bit. I still can't see it. Dang. Nah. We're gonna do something else. You know what? I did like Asteroid City. Asteroid City was okay, but high contrast. Asteroid City was kind of cool. Yeah, I can still see the high line. The high line. I can still see downtown high rises. Still retains that information. Pull down the shadows a bit. Still not crushing. Gives it a little foggy look. Makes it look a little foggy. Like the city is enshrouded by fog. That's fine. Let's Mess with the hues. Can we change the color of the sky? Sure can. I guess you get the point. You can do a lot with red raw. How far can you go? That's cool. It's not. But yeah, so you can play with it a lot. And what I'm really interested to see is how well this does it. Because you can't see anything in the distance. Nothing at all. Nothing. But you can definitely see detail in the clouds. You can definitely see details in the clouds. Yeah. So let's do primary. Oh, you can see a little detail. Definitely see a little detail back there. You can't make it out, obviously. But this was like, the iPhone is like a 24 millimeter. What is the widest? I think it's a 24. It was on the 24 lens. Well, that's what it was saying. And on the red, I was using a 50 mil. Same position. Which is weird because I was just a little bit over the lens of the red. So the red would be this microphone, and I had the iPhone like right here, right on top of it. It's a completely different shot. All right. Nothing's crushed. I wouldn't even call that blown out. No, it's not blown out. It's blue though. I think that's auto exposure. Super blue. It's like when you use this LUT, you had like 3 different looks from the same LUT. That's weird because of iPhone's auto madness. We need full control. That's fine. Let's see how much we can push it with a LUT. Still detail in the highlights. Love it. Love to see it. Not too much detail in like the branches and stuff. You know, it's a little mushed. But I can surely see this house right here. Definitely. Good enough detail. Good detail in these houses over here. And you can see the city. It reminds me of render distance. So yeah, with the iPhone you get like low render distance. With the red you get, you know, they put more detail into the things in the distance. That's what that's exactly what it's like. But I don't even think it was this much detail in the clouds on the red. Because the clouds look nice. I ain't gonna lie to you. The clouds do look nice. Hold on. Let's see if we can play with the hue. Probably not. We already tested that with the water. Yeah, it's gonna change everything. It's gonna change everything. That's on purple houses. So don't mess with the hue too much with ProRes LOG. But the highlights, shadows, and etc. Yeah, it retains that information pretty well. Yeah. So if you could, I would shoot nothing but ProRes log on the iPhone. You're gonna need a crazy external SSD, 1 to 2 TB minimum. Probably 2 TB minimum, because ProRes RAW, boy, 4K, yeah, it chews through that storage like no tomorrow. I don't like how this looks, but yeah, see it? The red does not show you that much detail. Show you that much detail in the clouds. This is crazy. So it looks like a completely different shot, but this tree right here, is this tree right here on the iPhone. It's just a bit closer. It looks completely different. It looks full. I might have to do a redo because it don't make no sense. I didn't want to zoom it in. I didn't want any type of optical zoom. Well, sorry, digital zoom. I didn't want any type of digital zoom. I didn't want to mess with the footage. I just wanted that clean footage. I wanted the best footage from the iPhone. So I just might have to get a 24mm lens and put it on the red and try to do this again, because the quality is different. The details is different. The highlights is different. You see smoke? Is that smoke? Is that smoke right here? Coming from a chimney? It is smoke. Yeah. Well, that's about it. I can definitely say, let me get back. Yeah, I can definitely say, ProRes RAW, it's good. It's good. Obviously, it doesn't have as much latitude, dynamic range as Red, because there's so much things that go into that. It's like it's a bigger sensor on the Red. You can interchange the lens. Lens play a huge part as well. Even photo lenses and cinema lenses play a huge part as well. Yeah, and plus I had like NDs on the Red, so it was constant throughout. Every shot was just constant. With the iPhone, you do get that issue with the auto exposure if you're using the native iPhone app. Try to use Blackmagic. It's probably user error that I couldn't record in log. I didn't see a setting to record in log. So for instance, let me like this. Yeah, see? Like the Kodak. That's all I have right there. I don't have ProRes log. So that's the only thing. You got 422 HQ, all that stuff. I just need ProRes log on this. Maybe it happens when I plug in the external. Let's try it. Why not? I got an external right here. I don't know how Apple was able to do it, but I should be able to do it as well. Does it see my, let's do a file. Make sure it sees this hard drive. Make sure it's formatted correctly. Yep, crucial. You can see it. Close Blackmagic, reopen it. Kodak. No, I don't see ProRes log. I don't see log. At all. Oh, record, yeah. Apple log HDR. Okay, so in the Blackmagic, it's a little different. I can take this out. So in the Blackmagic, as you see, it's in color space. Apple log HDR. Which makes sense. But yeah, I was just looking in the wrong place. I was looking in Kodak. This ain't real user error. So that's how you do it. That's how you do it. So yeah, just make sure you use the Blackmagic app if you're doing Apple log. You have way more control over the highlights. You won't have that issue of having Apple change the highlights whenever it feels like, and etc. So yeah. Yeah, that's about it. I like it. I dig it. Like I said, for weddings, it's pretty good. Serious professional work, like how Apple try to play it, like for movies and etc. You're just gonna have to have control over everything else. Lighting, each scene you're gonna have to have full control over everything, which is not the case in most scenarios. A lot of people don't have like $1 million budgets or $500,000 budgets to have full control over everything. So yeah. Yeah, that's it. I pass. I give it a passing grade. So yeah. Have a great holiday if you celebrate Christmas. And yeah, I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Peace.